The foam that you have is our 3x3 F601B. 3x3 meaning it's polar solvent is 3%, hydrocarbon is 3%. In most cases, 65 gallons. They're a tank within themselves. And if you ever have an incident where you need to change the totes out real quick, you can do that. Have a way for air to get into the totes. We got to pop the big lid off when we draft out the foam out of the tote. I'm not going to break the seals today because I don't want to do that. The other thing we've got down here on the tote is a paper seal. That's the original seal for the container. I'm going to leave that in place today. We actually have a couple pails of Class A we're going to draft out of, but we leave these in place until we're ready to go. We have gotten phone calls in the middle of the night, your foam trailer doesn't work, and because they didn't remove the paper seal. The connections on the tote are a threaded and a cam lock connection. So in this particular situation, we've got cam lock fitting. So now we're connected to the tote. And then we'll go ahead and connect into the manifold system. We check for our gasket. So we're ready to draft out of this tote. Now what we do is we take the lid off, open the tote valve, and then open our suction valve on the foam manifold. That will basically charge the manifold so we can either draft from the Dathput tool or with a foam proportioner at the base of the at the end of the manifold in the rear of the rig. I'll set the Dathput tool up first. In 3 pieces. This tool is specifically designed to manage seal fires on external floating roof tanks, the one we see right behind us. But it has a lot of other versatility, mounting it on the front of the truck. We put it on excavator buckets when we did the tire fire in Wesley years ago. We were down in Puerto Rico, or in St. Croix on a landfill fire a couple of years ago. We put it on dozer blades and so forth. They're very versatile tools. We mount on a lot of pieces of equipment. Plus we have a ground plate for it right here. Now the nozzle, this is composite. The fitting here is composite. So we want to always check for our gaskets. And here's an example of what can happen to the gasket. Now we want to be careful when we put that on there. We don't want to cross-thread it. 3x3 Thunderstorm. This is a self-metering, automatic, self-proportioning nozzle. You got 1x3. I can change the proportioning from 3 to 1% by just twisting the tip of the nozzle. Right now, the 1% is facing the foam inlet. It's at 1%. This product is plunge tested at 3%, but it has a UL listing for fires at 1%. We don't promote it as a 1% because it doesn't pass our plunge test at 1%. Classed at 3%. So fires of less than an inch in depth, this product could be used at 1% proportioning on like rollovers, stuff like that. Okay, so I'm going to leave it at 1%. We hook to the foam manifold. Now we're charged with foam. But if we did have foam in the manifold, where's it all going to go right now? Out the drain in the bottom of the manifold. The drain now in self-adducting mode. We turn the nozzle. We charge the nozzle, the monitor with water supply. We open the foam supply valve. We'll have foam running through the hose, coming into here, proportioning the nozzle. This nozzle, if I was to shoot with the wind, going that way, I know I could make it over the railroad track. I have no problem with that. Not 100% of the stream, but probably 20% of the stream. Got a range of about 225 feet, 275 feet in optimum conditions. Optimum conditions. You can adjust the elevation, pretty simple. The rotation. So now we've got a master stream piece of equipment that can self-proportion foam for a rollover, a dike area fire in the facility, a transport fire in town, and so forth.
line right next to it. That's it, huh?
Right. Because we're using the around the pump proportioner, we have to maintain our suction pressure, right? So it goes in line of the suction, and we operate it in auto. This will give me a constant 25 pounds to the pump panel at up to 2,000 gallons a minute, or until my static pressure starts to drop off, which is the case we have here today. So we're coming up. Charging at 125 pounds. I'm glad he left it. Remember, I opened it up, so I took it out of line. This went up. Just charging at 125 pounds. We're coming off the bumper to give the proportioner pressure, motive pressure. It's bringing water back to the auxiliary suction of the pump. When we open it up, we bring a rich foam solution into the eye of the pump. Every outlet becomes a foam outlet. We're flowing 1,500 gallons a minute at 3% foam concentrate, okay? We're pretending like we have a storage tank on fire. We have liquid in depth. So I come down to 1,500 gallons a minute, over to the 3% column, 5.6. I set the metering valve at 5.6. You guys are using 1 3/4 lines, right? So if I'm running 2 3/4 lines, what's my GPM roughly? 250 gallons, right? $1.25 a piece. Is that what we use a rule of thumb, right? So we're going to use, let's just say 300. So at 300 gallons, there is no 300, so I'm going to go to 500. I'm going to open it up at 4.1. That's 2 1 3/4 lines. What's the deck on? 1,000? Plus the 300? That puts us up to 1,500 again, or 1,200, 1,250. We'll just go back to 5.6. Just like that. We are flowing, basically we're flowing 1,500 gallons a minute, right? Give or take. So I'm going to set this at 1,500 at 3%, okay? So I'm going to go to the metering valve, I'm going to go 1,500 right here. At 3%, I'm going to open this up at 5. Leave it open, it won't hurt. It won't hurt a thing. 1,500 at 3%, I'm going to open this up to 5.4. 5.4. Come around this side of the truck.
No suction?
I got suction, sure. Suction foam.
Okay.
So we're basically either drafting out of the totes, or let's say we're drafting out of the truck, and let's say the truck's running low, I bring 2 more totes here, I hook another hose with that stinger up on it,